What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about why people on NoFap end up being successful. Before we get into that, my name's Keefe. I made this channel to help men create their ideal lives through self-mastery. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos, because I put out new videos every single day. So let's get into this topic. What is it about NoFap that makes people successful? All right, this topic clearly resonates with so many guys out there, and it's for a number of reasons, but I think the biggest one is that it seems to obviously make you more successful, and I can stand by this. And I really don't think it's anything like woo-woo or esoteric like some people like to talk about. It makes the law of attraction work better for you. I'm not really sure if I agree with that, or it helps with balancing your chakra system, all this kind of spiritual stuff, and I do believe in those kinds of things, but I'm not sure NoFap really has a lot to do with that. I really think the big reason that it makes you successful, though, is pretty straightforward and obvious. It's about discipline, all right? If you can discipline your sex drive of all things, you're going to be able to discipline other areas of your life. We live in a society where it is very easy to be overindulgent in sex, overindulgent in basically anything. Honestly, the only thing that you could really compare to the overindulgence of sex in the society is the overindulgence of food. But when it comes to this area, if you can discipline it, you're going to be able to discipline other areas of your life. This is why I talk to guys all the time about disciplining their body, building their body. That's the first step to success. I tell this to guys I've coached. I tell this to guys that I just meet out. I tell to friends, everybody, build that body, because when you do that, you have complete control over your body, right? And when you go into the gym and you set that daily habit of putting in the work and progressing towards a goal, you train your brain to act completely differently. And I tell people all the time, I've said this in different videos, I could not have been as successful as I've been in business and other areas of my life had I not first committed to disciplining myself in the gym. So, like I said, it's really just about discipline when it comes to NoFap. It makes your life so much easier when you become disciplined. Think about this from thousands of years ago, or even hundreds of years ago for that matter, when sex was far less available. Let's use a hunter-gatherer, for example, one of our prehistoric ancestors. These people, they did not have the luxury of having everything available at their fingertips. They didn't have DoorDash to get them food. They didn't have Pornhub available whenever they wanted it. They had to survive in the world, and if they did not act correctly, they were going to die. The thing about our world we live in today, the benefit of that is we don't have to be constantly afraid for our lives, and we can afford to be lazy sometimes. But the downside of this is that with that, we have to discipline ourselves, because if we don't, we're going to live miserable lives. Look at the number of people who continue to gain weight, and the people who are just completely controlled by compulsivity. They watch TV all day, they scroll on social media all day, they eat bad food all day. Like, this is what people are becoming on a rapid basis. This continues to be a bigger problem that nobody's speaking on. So when you discipline your sex drive, you're going to be far more likely to discipline other areas of your life. I've talked about in other videos how NoFap has other benefits, things like it raises your testosterone, or it helps you have more focus and clarity in the world, or it helps you with women, because it does help you with that in some ways. And I'll link to those videos in this video, but none of that in itself actually makes you successful. Like, just having more of a clear mind doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful, or being good with girls. I know plenty of fuck-ups who are good with girls. I know plenty of guys who had high testosterone and worked out all the time, but they weren't successful in any other area of your life. And so it really does just come down to that discipline. If you can discipline yourself, you can start orienting yourself in the correct direction. You can also, when you stop watching pornography, when you stop with PMO altogether, you're going to have to go get that dopamine hit from something else, right? I've heard it said that NoFap is kind of a rite of passage for the modern man, and it kind of is, right? Like, you're really, like, if you're still on a daily basis compulsively masturbating or watching porn or whatever, you're totally like that's such a boyish thing to do, right? Like, a man is actually out here, he's on his stuff, he's got to go get his money, he's building an empire, and he's got his girl, or he's a bachelor at this point, he's single, and he's just having fun with multiple women. But right, he's out interacting with the real world, and he's not in this virtual abstract reality where he gets to hide from the real world, right? Like, that's such a childish thing to be doing. So when you discipline yourself and you stop getting that quick dopamine hit from doing these practices like NoFap, like PMO, you're going to be more likely to pursue the dopamine rewards that come from longer term goals that are actually positive to your life. Because if you can stop watching porn, it's going to be you're going to have a pretty easy time quitting getting drunk on a regular basis or being compulsive about social media, because this is really the hardest one, I would have to say, is mastering this area of your life. So if you can master that, then you're going to be able to control the other low-level pleasures of your life. So you're going to be completely focused on these long-term achievable goals, and they're going to become more achievable because you're going to have more time, you're going to have more focus, you're going to have more energy to get after it. And here's the deal, guys. Your life is simply just a bunch of days put together back to back to back. And if you can discipline the days, you can change your life very quickly. I talked about this in one of my recent podcasts. I talked about how even in, like, I don't care where you're at in the world right now, in 1 month's time, it could be a whole hell of a lot better or a whole hell of a lot worse, depending on the actions you take right now. And those are daily actions, all right? Like, I promise you, if you just committed 1,000% right now to changing your life in 1 month, like, if you're not really into this practice very hard, or you're not into much self-development practices at all, just try it for a month. Just commit to some stuff. Commit to taking serious action towards your goals. Commit to cutting out the stuff that's not serving you, and just write down where you're at right now and write down where you're at in a month's time, and just look at the difference. I promise you, you'll see a dramatic difference and you'll never go back. But it's all about that discipline on a daily basis, and you can't get that if you're compulsively doing PMO or compulsively eating or doing any compulsive pleasure of the day. But the reason NoFap, I think, has become the popular one to talk about is because it has become such an epidemic, and it is the most pressing of the compulsive disorders. It's the one no one really speaks about. But guys, I'm going to keep this video pretty short today. That's really all I've got. If you like this video, hit the like button so I can reach more guys with my message. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss tomorrow's video, and I'll talk soon.